What's up, everybody? It's Justin. Welcome. And I got a ton of whiteboard stuff I'm gonna do tonight. This is a super nerdy episode, so fair warning. Crazy nerdy, crazy sciencey, but I think I break it down in a way that's gonna make a lot of sense for at least most of you. So this is called the basics of human metabolism. And this is kind of funny because I say the basics of human metabolism, but there's almost no such thing, and you're gonna see what I mean by that, because this gets incredibly complicated incredibly quickly, and as one of my favorite doctors of all time, Dr. Peter Attia, says on his podcast, he's like, the more I learn about human metabolism, the more I realize I know nothing about human metabolism. That's really kind of how I feel too, which is really interesting. And the average everyday person has almost zero understanding of this stuff. So we're gonna dive in, okay? So the reason why I decided to do this particular episode, the basics of human metabolism, is because, like I said, I've been working one-on-one with one-on-one clients, like my particular Clovis clients, but I also work inside of these Clovis communities, these Facebook groups. I take emails, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, people DM me all the time, all these things, right? And what I've discovered is that the real big issue in 2019 is this overabundance of diet information and this severe lack of any information whatsoever regarding how the human body actually works, right? It's quite backwards. So like if you guys were to get into analytics, let's say, and analyze Google searches in America, right? You'd see there's probably thousands of searches for med school students or biology students or biochemists or whatever. Like if you were going to search for like human metabolism or like the Krebs cycle or something like that, there'll be search results for it, but there'll be nothing in comparison to the search queries for, let's say, fat loss or weight loss or diet or exercise or keto, right? You know what I mean? So it's all these little trendy, it's what we call search engine optimization. It's all these little keywords that people search for. People are searching for things like fat loss, never searching for something like human metabolism. So they want the end goal. I talk about this all the time. They want the end goal. They want to be at step 10, which is good physique, when they're really at step 0 or step 1. They want to skip all the in-between. What's the magic pill or potion that gets me here? Now, at Clovis, I'm trying to do the opposite, right? I'm trying to teach you everything that you need, give you the tools and information that you need to carry you through your entire life to live your healthiest, happiest, most fulfilled life by taking care of the basic fundamental foundation of human health. That's really important. So I'm asking you to stick with me for this episode. This is almost an experimental episode because it's so science-based. So I'm gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. Now, I wanna point this out for the super nerds out there. You are going to notice that I am leaving a lot of stuff out. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out, a lot of reactions, a lot of conversions. I'm leaving a lot of the biochemistry terms out of this. I am doing this on purpose for the sake of simplicity. I don't want people's eyes glazed over. So you're gonna notice I'm gonna talk about things like burning, let's say burning glucose for energy or burning fatty acids for energy or fatty acids becoming ketones. I'm really not going to talk about like acetoacetate or beta-hydroxybutyrate, or I'm not going to talk about pyruvate or acetyl-CoA or acetyl-CoA dehydrogenase. I'm not going to talk about these things, or like the tricarboxylic acid cycle, right? We're not going to talk about that. Krebs cycle, all this stuff, blah, 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 biochemistry, right? I'm going to try to keep that stuff to a minimum. I'm going to talk about a few hormones, a couple of things that may sound a little complicated, but they're really not once I break them down. But those big, crazy terms, I'm leaving them out of this on purpose. I can make you a promise. By the end of this episode, I can promise you, you're going to know more about basic human metabolism than probably any mainstream medical doctor you've ever worked with in your life. Maybe, possibly, and I assure you, you're going to know more about human metabolism than any personal trainer that you've ever worked with in your life. If that personal trainer just has like a basic certified personal trainer, you know, if that's their certificate, you're gonna know more about human metabolism by the end of this episode than they do. I assure you of that. You're going to understand how fat, protein, and carbohydrates all work in the body. You're gonna understand how energy is created. You're gonna understand how energy is stored, AKA body fat and muscle. I'm talking about all these things. We're gonna hammer down all these little details, okay? So you actually understand how your body works. So real quick, I gotta do this. My name is Justin Nault. I am the CEO and founder of Clovis. I invented a line of nutritional products called the Perfect Paleo Powder here in this kitchen, right over there. I'm also a certified nutritional therapist, a certified specialist in sports nutrition, a certified specialist in fitness nutrition, and I'm in the business of transforming people's lives. It's what I do. You can see a bunch of badass testimonies at iamclovis.com/start. iamclovis.com/start, START. You see amazing transformation testimonies, videos, happy tears, people in new jeans, losing 50 pounds in 8 weeks, 40 pounds in 60 days, 21 pounds in 19 days, or 100 pounds in 6 months. You name it. I have a client that has done it through a lot of this basic information that I'm going to share with you right now. This is how you learn the nuts and bolts. It's not just following your GPS blindly. Tell me what to do. Tell me what to eat. Tell me this. No, when you teach you how your body works, okay? So eventually you don't need me anymore. That's the deal. If you want to work with somebody whose goal is to make it so you don't need them anymore, I'm the person you want to work with. What I'm going to start with is how your metabolism actually works. So first, I have to teach you about how each macronutrient, fat, carbohydrates, and protein, anyone who's gotten a custom plan from me, you know what macronutrients are. I'm going to tell you how all of those are metabolized and why, what they are used for. What's the reason for all of these things? Why, right? But first, we're going to cover a few basic topics. Whiteboard time, everybody. Booyah, I've missed this thing. Okay, so macronutrients. Macro means large. These nutrients are required by the body in large amounts, usually measured in grams. 10 grams of fat, 10 grams of protein, 10 grams of carbohydrates, total carbohydrates, right? If you're reading nutrition facts. Now we have fat, which is 4 calories per gram. We have, fat is 9, sorry about that. We have fat, which is 9 calories per gram, which is why everybody thinks that fat makes you fat because it has more calories per gram. We have protein, which is 4 calories per gram. Then we have carbohydrates, which is also 4 calories per gram. So again, the reason why people thought fat made you fat is because it contains more than twice the energy of protein and carbohydrates. There's also ethanol, or like alcohol, that actually contains 7 calories per gram, but it's not required for any processes in the body whatsoever. So we don't actually count it as a macronutrient. But that said, interestingly enough, carbohydrates are not required by the human body either. Glucose is required by the body for specific actions that we're going to talk about a little bit later on in this episode. But the body can create its own glucose. So it's not required to ingest glucose. It can literally make its own endogenous inside of the body. It can create its own glucose through, fancy biochemistry term, gluconeogenesis, the creation of new glucose, right? Okay. We're moving on from that. Now, the other thing that we have is micronutrients, but I'm not going to talk about micronutrients tonight. Again, we're doing basics of human metabolism. Micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals. We're talking about vitamins like fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. We're talking about vitamin C, the B vitamin complex, like all your B vitamins, right? So those are micronutrients, and they're small. They're measured in like usually micrograms or like UI, you can measure IU for like vitamin D, right? So those are micronutrients, but we're not talking about micronutrients tonight. We're going to talk about the basics of macronutrients and how these things are metabolized, okay? So before we jump in, let's talk about what you are actually made of, you as a human being. So I want you to picture something in your head. I want you to picture Legos, okay? So picture Legos in your head. I know that a lot of you are moms and dads out there. So let's picture Legos. So we have Legos, right? This is a mess of Legos laying on your floor that you wake up to go to the bathroom and you step on. It's the worst pain in your life, right? I don't know, I'm not a dad. But anyway, these are amino acids, okay? So these amino acids click together like Legos. And those amino acids click together to form proteins. Now these proteins also link together. Proteins link together to form cells. Okay? So amino acids plug together like Legos to build bigger Legos, which are proteins. And then those proteins link together to form bigger units of Legos called cells. Okay? That's cell. Then all of these cells link together even further to build bigger Legos. And those cells, so these are cells. Those cells all build together and turn into, these are tissues. Yep. Okay, so amino acids, wrap my brain around this. Amino acids plug together like Legos. They create proteins. Those proteins plug together to create cells. Those cells plug together to create tissues. Everything in your body is made up of cells, therefore is made up of tissues. Those tissues go on to make organs or bones, right? So we'll say this is a bone, organs, we'll do a little bicep, right? That's your muscles, okay? So these are organs. So quite literally, everything in your body is made up of amino acids and other chemicals that link those amino acids together. They're linked by these literally peptides link these amino acids together and link proteins together to create all these things, okay? So amino acids build into proteins, build into cells, build into tissues, build into organs, okay? I'm a terrible artist, that's cool, but that's literally what your body is made up of, okay? So all your organs are made up of tissues, remember that. All your organs are made up of tissues, are made up of cells, are made up of proteins, are made up of the simple form of proteins, these individual amino acids. There you go, okay. We're gonna get through all this, I promise, and then it's all gonna click together for you at the very end, but I have to hammer out some of this really basic stuff.